The following program contains mature subject matter. Viewer discretion is advised.
How might a job in the sex industry affect someone who has dealt with past sexual trauma? Weighing in on this topic is psychotherapist Dr. Mike Dow. And this is an important conversation. Our first guest is Kyli, who works as a phone sex operator after surviving sexual abuse. She joins us now via Skype to tell us her story. Kyli, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Can you explain to everyone what you do now and in fact did end up being a sex phone operator despite surviving sexual abuse?
Just a little over 2 years ago, I ended up in the psychiatric unit because of a relapse with bulimia, PTSD, newly diagnosed with bipolar disorder type 2. So as I came out of the psych ward, I was jobless, and I was one rent payment away from being homeless, and I was in such a bad place because my trauma was so intense and severe that there was no possibility of working outside of my house. So when I came across this ad for phone sex, I was kind of like, why not?
I'm just curious, though, with your history of abuse, was this really difficult for you? I mean, what was that experience like?
So when I went into it, I think part of me was drawn to it because when I was a teenager, I dealt with hypersexuality, like a lot of incest and trauma survivors do. And doing this job made me feel empowered because at first I was so angry at just men, not just my abuser, but I was so fearful and hurt of men that it kind of empowered me to be using this thing that had been weaponized against me and that had been taken from me as a really young child, and turning it into a career that was sustainable.
And Dr. Dow, it seems counterintuitive that a sexual abuse survivor could actually find healing doing something like Kyli does. Is there healing power in this type of work, potentially?
Well, what's interesting, for you, Kyli, is that it sounds, well, first of all, you're so well-spoken, and it sounds like you're very aware. And Kyli, the first thing that struck me is that, wow, you figured out how to be a survivor, right? And you took your power back.
In her case, as bizarre as this is, and without judgment, she's saying she feels empowered. Is it possible that everyone's journey through sexual abuse can lead to a different ending? Or is this something where you would say, Kyli, okay, you've done it now for a while, time to find something new?
Well, for Kyli, I do see elements of change, and I'd actually want to ask you, are you still a phone sex operator?
So yeah, I still do it part-time. And whereas it started as survival sex work, I do it now mostly for other disabled people, so other people who have dealt with abuse and are still trying to figure out what intimacy and healthy sexuality means. But I would say with phone sex, I was in control. I was in control of the narrative. I had to give consent. And it really started to remap those feelings for me.